David Brewster here, another 3 for all. This is 3 Dweezil Zappa Licks from 2006. And Dweezil Zappa is a monster guitarist and musician, obviously the son of the late great legend Frank Zappa. And Dweezil has this really quirky phrasing and timing, which is obviously something he inherited from his father. But he did have some things up his sleeve that his father didn't have, namely a huge Eddie Van Halen influence. I don't know if you've ever heard Dweezil play Eruption, but he nails it. And I think he really surprised a lot of people when he stepped up to bat and just started knocking his father's music out of the park, and faithfully, reproducing and performing Frank Zappa's music live, which is so awesome. So I've been a Dweezil Zappa fan since I was a kid, and my sister and I used to watch MTV endlessly, and Dweezil was a common personality on MTV. And then I started buying some of his solo albums, and I could hear that Van Halen connection. And if you haven't heard very much of his solo material, the 1991 album Confessions is almost, forgotten, but that's a brilliant album. Nino Bettencourt produced it, also plays guitar on it. There's Warren DeMartini, Steve Lukather, Zach Wilde, Tim Pierce. There's a whole bunch of people. Even Donny Osmond, singing Staying Alive, like this rocked out, Staying Alive cover. Confessions is a really good album. I did catch Dweezil in 2018 on the Choice Cuts tour, and it was great. It blew my mind. The band was so good, the performance was just amazing, and there was so much energy just floating around the room, and you could tell that they had rehearsed that set, but there was still plenty of just freeform improv, and you could just tell, like, the way he was pointing at different people, and they'd just take a solo, whether it was sax or keys or guitar or whatever. So good. The licks in this lesson came from 2006, and it was the first round of the Zappa Plays Zappa, tour. And it's actually Dweezil Zappa and Steve Vai, and they're head cutting, during this extended jam. And it's so good. It starts very mellow and quiet, and then it just starts building. Terry Bozzio's on drums, just killing it. And then you literally see Dweezil and Steve Vai just trading licks and cutting heads, basically. And it's so good, and it was really hard to ignore Steve Vai and just focus on Dweezil. But Dweezil's licks are so great, his tone was great, kind of this fuzzed out guitar tone. Amazing player, and literally standing toe-to-toe with Steve Vai and whipping out some great stuff. So here we go. So Dweezil actually opens the solo kind of head-cutting duel with a chord, just a single ringing chord, and I thought that was so cool. And then Steve Vai plays a chord. And then they start going back and forth, almost like playing ping pong with the guitars. But the chord Dweezil played, it's an F-sharp minor 13. And that delivers this really strong, Dorian tonality. So there's the chord he plays. He just kind of, lazily strums it. And then the vamp that they're jamming over, it's technically the Carlos Santana secret chord progression, which is really just a minor 1 chord followed by a major 4 chord. So we're in F-sharp minor, so think F-sharp minor 7 to B7, minor 1, major 4, and you can hear that in the vamp. And then you hear Dweezil play that chord, which fits the tonality of what they're getting ready to jam on. After his opening chord, one of the first licks he plays is this quiet, emotive, blues lick like this, which is really tasty. One more time. So we're in F-sharp minor pentatonic right there, and he starts on this E note. And after that, opening phrase, and he does this little, chromatic or passing tone kind of pull off right there, and ends on the root, that F sharp. And I just like that quick little, legato move right there. It's very simple, but very effective. It catches your attention. I like that phrase. Up next is this flying pentatonic run, and we're still in F-sharp minor pentatonic, and it's something like this. One more time. box right there, and he's grabbing this A and reaching up and grabbing that B note in the beginning. And then you want to do a quick hammer on A to B right there. And then you're going to descend using pull-offs and come down F sharp minor pentatonic in the box right there. And just end on that E note right there. And I would just practice that descending, pull-off run. Just, sit there and just do it over and over. There's a lot of guitarists that do these quick pentatonic licks like that. Think Eric Johnson or Zakk Wylde or someone like that. But I like this phrase. It kind of reminds me of Carlos Santana a little bit, which we are playing over his secret chord progression, so that's appropriate. But one more time with this. Here's an idea over the 4-chord, B7, and it's this B dominant pentatonic or Mixolydian pentatonic based idea. It's really cool. Something like this. One more time. So we're in B dominant pentatonic or Mixolydian pentatonic right there, and we've talked about that on this channel before. But just think of the minor pentatonic box, but raise the minor thirds to major, and you're playing B dominant pentatonic right here. Definitely, well suited for B7. Matches perfectly. And he's starting way up here on the top and does that kind of double, pull off, D sharp to B and then grab that A note right there. And then kind of, pick that D sharp a couple times. Like that. And then you're going to basically do that pull off 3 times. And then do it one more time. Reach over, grab that B note and come down 2 more notes. And then go back to that B and do it again. So you're doing... grab that E and then come down and end on that D sharp right there. That's a really tricky lick. It's quirky, with its rhythmic phrasing and the way it's just kind of put together. It's challenging, but really, really cool. I love the way it just plows right through it, like this. Alright, here's a bonus lick from this live footage, and it's this really weird, it's actually sweep picked. He's doing these downstroke sweeps, but it's this intervallic kind of sweep idea. Something like this. One more time. So right there, you're literally just kind of barring the 14th fret with your 3rd finger, at least that's the finger I'm using there. And you're going to move across the strings there, B, E, and that A note. Reach back and grab this F sharp and then stretch up and grab B. That almost sounds like something from Star Trek or something. But he's actually doing 3, downstroke sweeps in a row right there. And then you're going to mimic that again, starting on the D string right there, and go across the 14th fret, this E, A, and C sharp. Then grab B and stretch up and grab E. And then right there, finish once again and do this, A, C sharp, and F sharp along the 14th fret. Downstroke sweeps, and then you're going to go back to this E note, grab this A, go back to that E, and then you're going to bend G sharp up to A like this. Really cool. So really slow. Which I just screwed that up. I really like that phrase. It's unusual. It definitely catches your attention. That's going to wrap this look at 3 Dweezil Zappa Licks from 2006. A phenomenal player. Definitely, it runs in the family. I mean, Frank Zappa is a legend of music and the guitar. And then definitely Dweezil, like they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It really doesn't in his case, because he really does authentically reproduce his father's music. And when I saw him in concert back in 2018, they'd play a song, and at the end he would say, well, that's the song, But we actually performed, you know, the version that my dad played in 1974 in France or whatever. And then I realized, like, not only was he reproducing his dad's music, he was actually taking like live, you know, bootleg recordings and faithfully reproducing, you know, a version that his dad had played like back in the 70s or something. You know, very specific performances, which I thought that was really mind blowing. I thought, wow, they have definitely done their homework and mapped all this stuff out. And it just came out, it was brilliant. You know, I had a great time. So definitely a fiery musician, you know, runs in his family, like I said. But there's something really special about Dweezil. You know, I've always liked him. He's quirky, he's funny, amazingly talented on guitar and with music. And there's just something, you know, special surrounding that entire family. I mean, they're all very talented. But Dweezil has definitely been carrying that torch with his father's music, which is so impressive. So anyway, leave some feedback and comments. Please subscribe to Lessons, and I'll be back before you know it with more content and material. Thank you.